I am Stephenie Labandz. I'm a physical therapist with Robbinsdale School District, and I work with children ages 3 through 21, which affords a great variety of experiences. But the real excitement is when they're still real little and they're learning how to just kind of do some of those basic motor skills, learning how to get from point A to point B, and just growing and developing and changing so fast. Standing facilitates the child's educational experience in this environment by allowing them to move up to the same eye level as their peers, which is just enormous for their social experience. Also for the children who have severe mobility limitations, as many of the children do if they spend a great deal of their time in a wheelchair, it just affords them a different position to mobilize in or do work in. It allows the children who have range of motion limitations or who are at risk for range of motion limitations to stretch and experience a different position. And the force of their body weight in the standing position is often a much more effective stretch than we are able to achieve with some of the traditional range of motion facilitated by an adult. Breathing can be affected, digestion and elimination can be affected, which aren't glamorous things, but can be very important for the child and the caregivers. Research supports and pretty common practices support the initiation of standing for children. Around the same time that they're normally developing, peers would also begin to stand, which is around the age of 12 months. And this is particularly important for children who have increased tone, and that would, particularly in CP when it's spastic, because the pull of the muscles, usually through the lower extremities, can place the child at risk for malformations and hip dysplasia. So earlier with good alignment is definitely better. Then when choosing between a dynamic stander or a stationary stander, you want to just take a look at what you anticipate the child's functional needs being. You want to also be attentive to what their upper extremity function is. If this is a child that you anticipate can and will use a manual wheelchair, then a dynamic stander is certainly very appropriate for them so that they can experience the benefits of independent mobility and standing simultaneously. Today was amazing. We had the EasyStand crew come in with a couple of mobile standers for some of my students to try. And I just thought that some of the students I have who have a form of muscular dystrophy and severe instability and weakness through their upper extremities wouldn't really be able to propel the EasyStand mobile stander. But they proved me wrong, and one of the most rewarding really experiences as a therapist is when you think that a patient isn't going to be able to do it, but you just have them try it anyway, and they do it. So it was just really fantastic to see those girls be able to do something that I thought they couldn't. And they took great pride in it as well. Sit-to-stand standers have been very helpful for some of my students, particularly the ones that have fixed range of motion limitations, if they have joint contractures. It's extremely challenging to get them in good position in some of the traditional, very static supine or prone standers, and causes them discomfort. And we want standing to be a positive experience and something that they can and will do on a very regular basis. So the sit-to-stand stander has really accommodated that very well. Another nice feature of the sit-to-stand stander is the frequent presence of a tray, which in the school setting just really facilitates the children participating in regular activities such as snack time, art projects. If they're playing in their gym class, it's great. They can have a ball and be pushing that off and really just participating with their peers in that kind of a setting. Transfers with the sit-to-stand stander with a child who is able to bear some weight through their legs definitely is less of a strain on the staff than some of the traditional, particularly supine standards that usually a child would need to be lifted up onto in a pretty dependent position. If you have any questions about whether a standing program is going to be beneficial for one of your students, my best advice is to first, of course, talk to the child's physician to make sure that it is a safe and feasible and appropriate thing for the child to do, but contact your local durable medical equipment vendor. I've had great experiences. They've always been very happy to let us try out different pieces of equipment to see what's going to work for the different children, what's going to benefit them. Funding and accessing the equipment for mobility can sometimes be a challenge. There are different avenues to use depending on where you intend to use the equipment with the child or where you intend to have the child and their family use the equipment. The most common one that we get involved in is helping a child obtain the equipment for their home use, and that usually means billing insurance. The process involves trying different standers to see which standers work for the child best, which different accessories best meet the child's needs, and just kind of also seeing how the caregivers who may be transitioning the child in and out of the stander feel about the ease of use of the piece of equipment. The insurance company will want to see that you have tried a few so that you can see what the strengths and weaknesses are of the various models for the child, and then certainly provide excellent supporting documentation for the experience. So those things, when writing a letter to the insurance company, those are the things that you want to make sure to address in as much detail as possible. And don't be discouraged if the insurance company then responds to you asking for further detail or further justification. It's very common even with an excellent letter. So don't be discouraged, continue on, and just make sure that you have the support of the family and the rest of the healthcare team. Certainly if you find a piece of equipment and it's just amazing and it really is beneficial for the child, if there doesn't seem to be immediate funding available, there are also community resources. I know some like Lions Clubs and other local organizations do, their whole point is to give funds to worthy causes.